So the frost continues, the frozen landscape. It's like suspended animation. Now, welcome to Old Cottage. And in this little video, I've included some upcycling. So I took a dress that just really didn't flatter me, and it was one I bought in a charity shop, and I've completely changed it. I've upcycled it and resewn it into a skirt. So that's going to be on this little video. And also the frozen landscape of the woodland garden. I mean, it's just enchanting at the moment. This little drive that we're on here, I was coming back from my brother's place over in Mohill. Mohill is spelled Mohill. So you can look for that on Google Maps. It's a fascinating little place. And it's a very interesting little road because it winds from Drumshambo across to Mohill. It's a little country lane almost, you know. I'm driving back. It was so beautiful. I just had to record it because the trees, they're just standing sentinel on either side of the road. And every so often there's a little cottage, a little house, something that declares, you know, people actually live here. Because sometimes, you know, when you're driving in the west of Ireland, you can get the impression that nobody lives here. It's such a sacred land. That's what I think, anyway. And for those of you in America, the United States, in Australia, in the UK, wherever you live, if you have Irish ancestry, then looking at this landscape will stir something in you, a memory. I'm always thinking about memories because when I was writing my third book, Walking Between Worlds, it's really very easy to transpose oneself between this world and the other world. I don't call it the next world. We don't suddenly stop and just suddenly go on to something else, because that's not real, that's not life. But the other world is like, it's just beyond a little veil, you know. If our minds were more open, we could see and hear and relate. But this is what I do when I'm driving, especially on an evening such as this. The sun has set and I'm heading towards home, and that feels good. But it's just wonderful to see the lights of a little town coming up. Enjoy the video. So this was a dress, and I didn't like it because it wasn't very flattering. The waist was too high, and I bought it in a charity shop anyway, so it wasn't as though I paid a fortune for it. What I've done is I've cut the skirt bit off. Let me just hold this up. So it's now a skirt. It's got 2 pockets. This is the back. So I cut just above the actual waistline. So I'm going to sew this in, or I might even leave it raw because it is like a jersey. So you can do that. There we go. That's a better way of showing it. There's the pockets, there's the waistband. That's the way the back is done, which is rather lovely. And I may now just make it a little bit shorter. I love this pattern. So here is the finished skirt. And it's so comfortable and it's just the right length. I was going to cut it up a little bit, and then I thought, well, I'll just try it on. I'll wear it for a little bit and see how this feels on me. It makes the perfect skirt. And I think that anything that you can source in charity shops or thrift stores that's made from a form of jersey, like this dress was made, then that's going to be so easy to work with, you know, to make a skirt, because you've got the natural stretch in it. Now, I posted this photograph up on Facebook and on Twitter, and a lot of people said, oh, it's great that everything coordinates and your cardigan matches your skirt. Well, there's a very simple trick to that, and that is choose the colours that suit you best. And these change, by the way, as you age. I mean, I'm 67, so the colours that would suit me now may not have suited me years ago. And choose the colours that suit you. They're normally, say, 3 colours. You can work with 3 colours, sometimes only 2, but you can get shades off. Sometimes the shades can be a bit extreme, so you look for subtle colours. Look for earthy colours if you're like me. I just love earthy colours, and I think that it suits my skin tones, because you have to look at your skin tones and your hair. And go with that. Go with how all that matches, and then whatever you purchase in terms of clothes thereafter, you're going to be sticking with those colours. So it's going to be very easy to match things up. So everything looks a lot more classic than what it actually was. So I was walking up the lane from a neighbour's house, and the frozen cobwebs were just beautiful. And then looking up towards the top of the driveway, the sun was just shining in such an ethereal way. I just thought it was magical. I use the word magical a lot because I feel very blessed to live in such a magical place as the west of Ireland. And people say, oh, Colette, you know, you see beauty in everything. Isn't there beauty in everything? I don't think I've ever come across anything that didn't have at its core beauty. Blessings to you all. I feel blessed, and I send my blessings to you. So this is the calendar, which is still available on the website, and the months of the year and the days of the week are in Irish, and all the Celtic festivals are marked out in it, and it's filled with photographs and some writing, some interesting little bits and pieces of writing. Okay, and this is the back of it, even some writing and photographs on the back. Then I also have, let me just get these books lined up. My first book, A Cottage and 3 Acres. Now this comes with, I think there's about 70 photographs in there. I know the calendar has between 50 and 60 or perhaps 70 photographs as well. But this details my journey from 2004, when I stumbled upon this little place, up until 2013. My second book, In Search of the Goddess Rising, this is very much inspired by living in the west of Ireland, because Ireland has a very female identity. We call it Mother Ireland. And this is all about the goddess and the culture here, and the way in which the landscape and our thoughts on life and our thoughts on family are all influenced by the goddess culture. Ireland was even named after one of the beautiful goddesses. This third book explores my journey over the past 18 and a half, getting on for 19 years. Walking Between Worlds is an exploration of this world and the other world. And again, lots of images in it. delving, weaving, going right across, the warp and the weft, looking at the she, the fairy world, the other world, the influence of the Celts, the influence of all that is seen and unseen, especially the unseen. There's a great depth of spiritual exploration in this, and bringing us right up to, the modern day and UFOs. Did you know that there was a recording, I say a recording because it was translated from the ancient Irish, of what could only be a UFO back in the 11th century here in Ireland? Much to talk about and to think about there. And this little booklet, the Be Out in the Cottage Guide to the Deep Midwinter, it has got recipes, it's got photographs, it's got some little stories, it's got all things pertaining to the beautiful, enchanting, deep Midwinter. All available on the website, and the links are to be found under every video. A little view of Bealton Cottage when I first bought the cottage, and this was the land looking up from the road and the land looking down from the cottage. Blessings to you all.